Good morning, Commish. How are you doing?
We're doing fine because it's this time of year.
You're right. It is this time of year. So listen, on the women's side, there are some great storylines, but let's start with the men's. What are some of those storylines that stick out to you?
Well, I think the biggest one is there are a wide variety of schools that could win this year's tournament. I think, there are clearly number 1, 2, and 3, and 4 seeds in each region. But the bottom line here is there's a ton of really good teams out there, and I think we're going to see a lot of really close, tense, and interesting games as the tournament gets going. Yeah. And of course, I'm looking forward to a few 5-12 and 13-4 upsets.
Yeah, we're always looking at those Cinderella stories. Now, there's a couple of teams that were left out. It happens every single year. Auburn, Oklahoma, they come to mind. But there is some talks about expanding the tournament to 72 or even 76 teams. What are your ideas on that? Do you think this field can be bigger in 2027?
Well, the first thing I'd say is that the basketball committees on both sides, men and women, postponed any further discussions on this until we get through the tournament. It's too distracting. But I do think there's a pretty robust conversation going on about some modest expansion. And part of that's driven by the fact that there are far more schools in D1 than there were 10 or 15 years ago. And secondly, every year the teams that get left out, there's always a few of them that you look at and say, geez, I wish I could have seen those folks in the tournament. And I think this will be a conversation the committees will take back up once they get past the tournament. And the two big issues there will end up being sort of logistics and can we figure out how to make it work in a way that works for everybody? Because it will be a really complicated first week if we get there.
Charlie, we are in unprecedented times when it comes to the popularity of sports, especially in college, but then also this intersection between gambling, the sports, and the players. Some have been compromised, and of course, there are more successful stories of guys playing the game the right way than there is guys messing up. But what's being done to stop this from happening? Guys being compromised and fixing the game occasionally.
Well, we have the largest integrity program, I think, in the world on college basketball, and unfortunately, we catch players doing a variety of things associated with usually underperforming on prop bets and that sort of thing. And that's one of the reasons why we've been big advocates of getting rid of prop bets in college sports. We think it puts enormous pressure on the kids who are just trying to play the games. If you track any of the nonsense that they deal with, both in the arena and on social media, it's brutal. And I think we're the only league that actually hires somebody to track that stuff during our championships, and it's thousands and thousands of really abusive information and messages that are being directed at young people and at coaches and officials too. And if you sit behind any of these teams during the tournament, you will hear just an incredible amount of vitriol that's being directed at the kids who are playing. And frankly, it's horrible behavior. If we find people in the social media space who are misbehaving in a significant way, we literally notify the platforms and tell them to get those people off. But the bottom line is this is all being driven by betting. We have a deal with Venmo to help us shut people off when they're harassing some of the kids because they don't deliver on their prop. I mean, This is crazy town with respect to how this is working right now.
Last year at this time, we weren't talking about the prediction markets like we are talking about them now. Kalshi, Polymarket. There are a ton of other ones, but those are the most popular. And I know that the NCAA sent a letter out to Kalshi about that integrity word that you mentioned. What was their response, and what concerns you about these prediction markets as compared to gambling?
Well, first of all, you can do it. You can start doing it at the age of 18, which is, almost every state you can't gamble legally until you're 20 or 21. That's problem number one. Problem number two is they don't collect the kind of data that you're required to collect if you're a sports book. We sent them a long letter that outlined all of our concerns, and frankly, they said to us, that the entity that oversees them, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, actually enters into memorandums of understanding with interested parties. And I think we're an interested party in this. We sent them a 3-page letter on the things we believe they need to do to protect student athletes from the kind of abuse that we're talking about here. And frankly, from some of the fraud that's translated into us kicking kids out of programs, which we hate doing because of deliberate underperforming on prop bets, and some of that obviously has been made public by the cases in Philadelphia that got filed by the U.S. attorney there. But I think in many respects they have a bunch of work to do in this space. They said they would publish our letter as part of their public comment period, and then we're looking forward to having a discussion with them. And if we don't get anywhere with them, we'll explore other options to deal with that.
Well, the madness of March.
By the way,
here.
we also have an educational program for student athletes that over 200,000 kids have gone through with respect to the challenges and the issues associated with sports betting.
All right.
We're working this one pretty hard.
Well, listen, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. NCAA President Charlie Baker, thank you so much for joining us.
Enjoy the tournament.